Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and to all the viewers watching right across Africa. We welcome you to the official draw of the CAF Women's Champions League COSAFA Qualifier 2024, which is set to take place in Blantyre, Malawi from 15 to 24 August 2024. My name is Joshua Nip, the competitions manager at COSAFA, and I'll be the draw master for today. Firstly, I'd just like to welcome someone that requires no introduction. Banyana Banyana and Serie A star, Rufulwe Jani. Rufulwe, it's great to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Rufulwe, before we start, we'd just like to gain some of your insights on women's football in Africa in particular. Of course, the CAF Women's Champions League has been a good addition to the African women's football calendar. What are your thoughts and impressions on this competition?
Well, the big stage, which is the CAF Women's Champions League for women in Africa, is the place to be for all the teams that play in the African continent. And with these qualifiers that are coming up in the COSAFA region, I think teams will be looking up to play very well to qualify for the big stage and showcase their talent in the African continent.
Fantastic. And obviously you've been someone that's been around the Southern African football scene for a while. You've been in Europe as well. How does Southern African football and African football compare to that of Europe, in clubs in particular?
Well, I think the difference is not that big with the investments that the Southern Council and Southern regions are putting in effort in making sure that the players and the teams get good preparation, and especially for the big stages. It's something that we are very grateful for. And also in the African continent, we've got amazing teams, we've got amazing players who also play their trade for their local clubs. Some get scouted overseas. So it shows that we have the talent, and with the right investments and the right support, we can grow African football.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Rufulwe. I think before we start the draw, I'd just like to explain the draw procedures and the format of the competition for this year. So we have 8 teams in the competition this year, split into 2 groups of 4 teams each. The winners and the runners-up from each group will progress to the semi-final stage, and then the winner of the final will qualify for the final CAF competition. There will be 2 seeded teams based on the member association's performance at the 2023 edition of the COSAFA Qualifiers. These are the University of Western Cape. They head up Group A. And then Gaborone United ladies from Botswana, they head up Group B. The remaining 6 teams are divided into 2 pots, also according to the member association's performances at the 2023 COSAFA qualifiers. In pot 1, we have the 2 higher ranked teams, which are UD Lichinga from Mozambique and Green Buffaloes from Zambia. And then in pot 2, we have the 4 lower ranked teams, which are Ascent Academy from Malawi, Young Buffaloes from Eswatini, Oriental's Queens from Zimbabwe, and FC Ongas from Namibia. And then just to explain how everything will work, the first 2 balls drawn from pot 1 will slot into position 2 of groups A and B. We then move over to pot 2, where the first 2 balls will slot into position 3 of the respective groups, and then the last 2 balls will conclude the draw into position 4 of the same groups as well. Thank you, Rufulwe. It's your time. Please give it a good stir and draw the first ball. This ball will go to position 8-2, and they'll join UWC in Group A. Green Buffaloes from Zambia. Green Buffaloes were the winners of the competition in 2022 when they defeated Sundowns 6-5 on penalties. Thank you, Rufulwe. This ball will go to position B2. UD Lichinga from Mozambique. They are the second club from Mozambique to participate in this competition after Costa do Sol finished 3rd in last year's edition of the competition. Thank you, Rufulwe. Head over to pot 2. Let's give it a good stir fast, please. This ball will go to position A3. Oriental's Queens from Zimbabwe. They are the second Zimbabwean side to participate after Black Rhinos in 2021, and they've been on a brilliant streak for 2 years, going on a 38-game winning streak. So it's fantastic from there. Thank you. Go to position B3. Ascent Academy from Malawi. They are the hosts of the competition in 2024, and they'll of course look to use that home ground advantage in this year's competition. We move on to the last 2 balls to conclude Group A. FC Ongas from Namibia. Ongas returned to the competition for the 2nd time, though under a new name this time. They were previously known as Tura Magic, and we welcome them back to this edition of the competition. Thank you, Rufube. Last ball. Position B4. Young Buffaloes from Eswatini. Young Buffaloes returned to the competition for the 3rd time in 4 years, and they'll be looking for their first ever win in this year's edition. Thank you very much, Lofiwe. What are your thoughts on the draw?
It's been an interesting draw. We've seen quite a number of debutants in this year's edition, and also we're looking forward to the games. It will be interesting to see how the debutants fare out in this tournament.
Fantastic. Just looking at the Group A, looks like a very strong group. Of course, I'm sure you have some national team colleagues in University of Western Cape. What are your thoughts on their chances at the competition?
Well, I think the University of the Western Cape stand a good chance of qualifying for the CAF Women's Champions League because of the experience that they have in the team. You know, quite a number of their players play for Banyana Banyana, and they've played in international tournaments. So I think that experience will come in very handy for them. But we cannot rule out Grand Buffaloes, you cannot rule out Torrential Queens, and also the likes of Gaborone United, and also the hosts.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll just do a quick recap of the groups. In Group A, we have the University of Western Cape from South Africa. We have Green Buffaloes from Zambia. We have Oriental Queens from Zimbabwe. We have FC Ongas from Namibia. We have Gaborone United from Botswana. In Group B, we have UD Luchinga from Mozambique. We have Ascent Academy from Malawi. And we have Young Buffaloes from Eswatini. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the draw for today. The fixtures will be distributed through our media outlets. Thank you very much.